Well, hello. Here I am, Osgood High School, and I am speaking with.
Jennifer Bancej.
And Jennifer, what's your role at the school?
I'm a teacher. Been
Yeah.
teaching here for 24 years,
Wow.
and I teach biology and science.
And we've had, full disclosure, we've had conversations before, Jennifer. You're a part of the Dreamers here at Osgood who are trying to do a little bit of not a little bit, trying to reimagine how learning ought to be. So I'm going to ask you this question. Let's say you were hired on by a school district as a consultant. What what advice would you give to the school system to reimagine learning in a way that awakens the learning culture and it really understands that learning is deeply connected to health and well-being of not just the children but to the broad community?
Well, I think that I would have two things to say about it. Um, I've been making a point in my classroom to have students do things that they're passionate about and trying to connect that to the learning we're doing in the classroom. So, passion projects, um, students talking about their grandpa's truck that they're fixing up, or they're talking about they want to build houses someday, or they want to be an interior designer, so they make a house model and show me how everything we're learning in science is actually connected to this thing that they're passionate about. I have students who want to take care of animals when they grow up, so they might go work at an animal shelter and learn about that while they're in high school. So the hope is to get the students doing projects on things they love, so they're already bought in and they want to be there and they want to make those connections.
How would you respond to somebody who said, that's the wrong way? We have a curriculum to follow, and we need to be much more stringent about preparing these kids for university or college by following that curriculum.
So I would argue that the curriculum is in there. It's actually in what the students are doing. And it's been amazing to see with this grade 10 applied class that I have this semester,
Yeah.
how much science they've been able to pull out, and just like they know all the science and they didn't even know they knew it. So I had one boy who talked about the two-stroke engine in a dirt bike, and he knows more about that than I'm ever going to know about it. And there was just so much amazing chemistry, like he's talking about vaporization points and all the fluids that make the pistons work and all the stuff that I have no clue about. But he's got all this amazing knowledge, and I was saying to him, like, you need to go and teach this to somebody because you have so much knowledge, and it's, it's valuable. And I think that kids come into the school system, and some classrooms are traditional and learning is a certain specific way, and kids have been able to learn through these passion projects that it doesn't have to be the way they think school is, and they're commenting that they're engaged in the learning.
So that leads beautifully into my next question. I was going to ask, can you give some specific examples on what this is doing to kids, how they're responding to this beautiful way of learning?
So I just had a student write in my yearbook yesterday that the classroom helped them to find and not be afraid to explore their passions. And I talk a lot about passion and my passion for teaching and sort of changing the way that the school system is. And I think students see that I'm so inspired by what I'm doing and trying to make change that maybe they're open to being a little bit vulnerable as well, because I'm kind of sharing with them that that's what I'm doing myself, and then it makes them open to doing it themselves.
Why do you think this is so important as we move into a complex future?
Well, I think that students are not going to go into a job that they have their whole life. I think they need to be versatile and they need to be able to have conversations. So the thinking classroom is a big thing that I've been incorporating into my classroom.
Oh, tell me more about that, please.
So the students work at the whiteboards on various tasks, problems, case studies, and they, instead of me doing a lesson, they come up with the actual learning themselves through the things they explore. And by the end, they've actually taught themselves everything I would have taught them, but in a more engaging way. And they love it. Like they are just raving about it, and they're excited to come every day.
Any other comments for this particular thing? I'm really hoping that I'll follow this up. and get into your classroom and take a little bit of video so we can do a deep dive into what you're doing. But Ed, do you have any more comments that you'd like to make before that?
Well, this thinking classroom thing, which is from a book. Peter Liljedahl has been doing this for 20 years and started in math, but now it's exploring, all the different subject areas. So once I sort of figured out how to incorporate into biology and science, like my classroom has just completely transformed. And I guess the key for me is the idea of offering the students availability to talk to other people, exchange ideas, instead of it being like education being so isolated and you just have to do your work on your own. There's just something about being at the whiteboard, the surface is erasable, they can make mistakes, they can be a little bit vulnerable, and they're with different people every day, and they sort of start to see the value of everybody's contributions. And the other thing I would say is giving students a voice, giving them choice in what they choose. Um, it just empowers them to become part of the learning.
So often I find that educators, I mean, we live in a status quo driven environment, and fear plays a large part of this. Fear of the unknown and fear of taking the risk. What advice would you have to? I recently came back from Brazil. I was working with a private education company down there, but boy, do they ever get the importance of transfer. They don't call their teachers or their educational assistants. They call all of their educators transformation agents,
Oh, I love that.
and they give them the autonomy. What advice would you give to teachers who want to do this change or make this shift, but they're afraid?
So I've actually been presenting on this topic about the changes I've been making in the last 24 years, I guess, in my classroom. And the advice I usually give is just try one thing, just try one thing. And I'm actually starting to see those changes. I presented about the thinking classroom to our staff at the beginning of the year. We have French teachers trying to do their French verbs with students collaborating at the boards. We also have, other science teachers who were maybe like, I don't see how it could happen. How could I do this method? Now we're going to work together and co-create some things and do like a lesson study and work together. So it's just that idea of it doesn't have to be big.
Right.
Just try one new thing and see how, it changes things.
Thank you so much.
Oh.